Welcome in, welcome on, and welcome to the Direct Podcast. Everything you need to know about the universes you love. I am your host, Matt Rimke, and I'm joined as always by my friend, co-host, box office correspondent, and senior editor at thedirect.com, Mr. David Thompson. David, the Direct Podcast is back.
We are so back. New feed, new shows, new era for the Direct Podcast. Same coverage of every major blockbuster franchise. We are so excited to be back and very thankful to everyone who has been tuning in and is tuning in right now.
Absolutely. This show has been around since 2020. So if you're an OG listener and you found us, thank you so much for finding us. If you are a new listener, thank you for being on the team. Everyone, please go do all the things that help a show, right? 5 stars, leave a review, share it with your friends. Let's get this thing going. Follow us on Twitter at David Thompson, Daavid Thompson. Follow me at Matt Rimke, Roemb as in boy, Ke. We are brought to you by thedirect.com, the #1 online source for all the movie and TV universes you love. So make sure to go over to thedirect.com to see what we got going on over there. Follow us on Twitter, follow us on YouTube at the Direct Extras YouTube page. All of those things. We're very excited to be here. All right, let's dive right into it with the first episode of this new era, our review of James Gunn's Superman. Here we go. The first review of the new era, the Direct Podcast, Superman, the first movie of the DCU. A quick setup to how we do reviews here on the Direct Podcast, in case anybody's new and listening. We'll go through the starting lineup, who's in this thing, who made this thing, right? And then we'll go into what we call the box score, looking at the numbers. We are going to, right now, be using the Rotten Tomatoes scores for this movie and using that to gauge, are we higher, are we lower, are we right in line, to give our overall thoughts. Then we dive into what we call the film room, movies or sports. Me and David are each going to pick out the one thing, character, decision, theme, plot, scene, whatever it might be, that impacted this movie the most, positively or negatively. And then we get into top plays. This is where we cover things we haven't covered yet. Big moments, little moments, characters, side characters, funny little things that we liked about the movie. And then, especially for movies like this, we go into the post game. What's next for these characters, this franchise, this universe, anything stemming from. David Thompson, are you finally ready to review Superman 2025?
I'm ready, man. It's been a long, long time coming.
Feels like a moment.
It
Feels
really
like a
is,
moment.
man. I just quick before the thoughts. So, my wife Jasmine's been along with me for this whole ride. She's the reason why I said the David Corenswet thing for a lot of reasons way back when, predicting that, or just fan casting him essentially. She's the one that got me to watch that show. I would have never watched that series without her being like, let's watch this new, it came out in COVID, like let's watch this new Hollywood show. Whatever. And when we sat down in the theater on Monday night, she's like, I can't believe we're actually here. Like we actually made she's like, I don't think you've ever waited for a movie longer than this movie. And I'm like, yeah, maybe not. I like with knowledge of the movie coming and the wait for it and the anticipation, especially because it's new and there was nothing to watch leading up to this, really, Creature Commandos, right? Like I think this is one of my most anticipated movies I've ever seen, especially as an adult.
Yeah, and as a comic book fan, Infinity War and Endgame have their own special place in
Different.
our hearts.
Exactly. That's yeah. Without build up, without it being the culmination of something. This is the beginning of something.
A little more context to that before we dive in. This is, I consider myself a historian of comic book movies. That's what I like to do. My favorite hobby is that.
Yes.
This is the first time in 12 years, since 2013, that a new, fresh, untethered, unencumbered comic book movie universe has been launched. David, do you remember the movie from 2013 by chance?
Zack Snyder's Man of Steel.
Zack Snyder's Man of Steel. Big moment. That was awesome too. You know what I mean?
I was there.
This is the first time since the MCU became what it is that somebody has relaunched a comic book movie universe
We don't count 2018's Venom.
because it's so tied to Spider-Man stuff. No, no, and I considered it. I mean, that's not
I'm
that crazy of a
joking.
question.
I'm joking.
It's so tied to different Spider-Man stuff. I feel like that was an extension of the Garfield Spider-Man movies, but without Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I don't, but you could, I think. But when you think about it, think about what this movie universe they had to learn from. The highs of the MCU, the lows of the Venomverse, the lows of the DCEU, the highs of the DCEU.
Yeah.
So many things that like comic book movie fatigue has become a thing. And now this is a brand new comic book movie universe who can learn from all of those things, good, bad, and different. And here we are, the first entry in theaters, James Gunn's Superman. Your starting lineup for Superman. David Corenswet as Clark Kent, Superman. Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane. Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor. Eddie Gathegi as Mr. Terrific. Is that not right?
Eddie Gathegi, I think that's how you say it.
Gathegi, damn it. Eddie Gathegi is Mr. Terrific.
It rhymes. He was
Anthony
also in that
Kerrigan is
X-Men movie.
Rex. He is. He, he was Metamorpho in that X-Men movie, who in this movie is played by Anthony Kerrigan. Guy Gardner, Nathan Fillion is Guy Gardner, the Green Lantern. Isabella Marcid as Hawk Girl. Skylar Gisando as Jimmy Olsen. Sarah Sampe as Eve Tessmacher. Maria Gabriela de Ferreira as Angela Spica, the engineer. Wendell Pierce as Perry Wright. Pruitt Taylor Vince as Pa Kent, and Neva Howell as Ma Kent, directed by James Gunn. Music by David Fleming from The Last of Us. Fun little note there.
John Murphy.
By James. And
John Murphy.
You're right. Yeah, John Murphy and David Fleming.
Mm-hmm.
My bad.
You're good.
Written by James Gunn. David Thompson. The box score. The Rotten Tomatoes for Superman. Critics have settled in at 85%. Audiences settling in at 96%. Rave reviews across the board. Are you higher? Are you lower? Where do you fall? Overall thoughts for Superman.
Wow. We made it. I think I'm definitely more on the audience side. I think I would have it like in the 90s if I were to be like, if I had my David Thompson percentage. I think 85, I understand where you get there, but I also understand that 96, man, because I am a fan. And this movie at the end of the day is for fans. I think it's for general audience members too. I love that metric, mentioning my wife a second ago. Like, it's great always to hear her thoughts because she takes these things in such a casual way. And she's like, how would you not like that movie walking out? She loved it. She walked, by the way, Matt, I haven't told you this. Jasmine walks out of this movie and goes, that's my favorite solo superhero movie I've ever seen. I was like, holy shit. Not Spider-Man. My senses went off. I was kidding. But I love this movie. I think in many ways, you mentioned the beginning of the DCU. I think James Gunn delivered the perfect starting point for a new universe, which for the universes we love and the way we enjoy taking in this content, me and Matt, what more could we ask for in that way? I think this Superman emphasizes more of the man than it does the super, which is a take on the character that left me in tears. Like, when the credits roll in this movie, I was not bawling or anything, but I had tears in my eyes. I was like, man, like they really did something here. A lot of humor, very fast paced, incredibly fast paced, which I think is a huge talking point today. But I thought it was just emotionally, it resonated with me a lot. So yeah, those are my overall thoughts. I really enjoyed it. Like, without getting into any kind of a spoiler, the cast was just phenomenal. We'll talk more about them. Matt, I haven't heard a ton. We haven't talked a lot about the movie yet.
Yeah.
I just saw it. What did you think? James Gunn, that's your guy, you know. Corenswet's mine. James is yours. What are your thoughts?
Feels like a win for us, yeah? Feels like a win for this podcast. Saw it last night. Drove an hour seat with a friend. Drove an hour back thinking about it. 85 critic, 96 audience. I definitely fall in the middle. I definitely fall in the middle. 85 is about as low as I would go. 90, I think, is as high as I would go. That's a pretty damn good score. Especially for an origin movie. This is exactly what I wanted it to be. Exactly what I was hoping it would be. It's exactly what I wanted it to be before we saw a trailer, when we heard it was James Gunn. It's exactly what I wanted it to be after I saw the trailer. I guess a knock would be it didn't surpass my expectations, I don't think. I had very high expectations. And I think that if nothing else, if you're for some reason listening to this podcast, a brand new launched the direct podcast, and you haven't seen this movie yet, if you're on the fence, if you like the trailer, you're gonna like the movie. The trailer did such a good job telling us exactly what this is going to be, and it was. And
Yeah.
it ended up being that.
Yeah.
Um, I think that this movie is bold and new and out of the realm of what maybe we thought was possible for a Superman movie, which is strange after watching it, right?
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. I agree.
it makes me think differently about every Superman movie that came before it.
Yes.
We've reviewed every theatrically released Superman movie outside of uh
Sequels in the 70s and 80s.
the early sequels. Um, we've reviewed all of them. They're on the direct podcast feed. You can go listen to those over the past few weeks. It makes me think differently about these because this is so different. This is so more dialed into a specific vision than those were. It makes me think differently about the Sam Raimi movies, Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies,
Oh,
and those X-Men movies. And it's popcorn, man. This is I know it's rote. One word here on the Rec
I
podcast.
saw a very rote like review earlier today, by the
Sure.
way.
We'll get to a review.
Should have
Trust me.
command F'd it. I didn't though.
Rote.
Yeah. Might have been in there.
This is something a lot of people say with comic book movies. It's a little bit of buzzwordy, but this is a comic book brought to life in a way that we haven't seen that done before.
It's we got to get this out of the way because it's everyone's take. Anyone who's read a comic book, a Superman comic book specifically, and you go see this movie, you're like, wow. Because I think the thing on this for me, and to kind of dive deeper into what people mean by that, because Jasmine, I said this to Jasmine, and she was like, I don't know what that means. It's like, what do you mean by that? Like she's like, they're all like, I walk out and they're all like that, right? And I'm like, no. James Gunn, I think his main point of reference were comic books, nothing else. Do you agree with that? Because
I do.
that was my take.
Absolutely.
That he literally, the way the story is even like told, I'm like, he tried to create a comic book on the big screen more than he tried to create a movie in many ways. He's like, this is going to
100%.
be, I wrote a comic book. Let me just make it a film. I mean, the way it's paced, the way it moves, the characters, like the joy in it, even the way the action is told, like obviously the humor. It really, I don't know a movie that's more just splattering a comic book on the big screen.
And unapologetic about it too.
Oh
Had
yeah,
no
hesitancy.
did not hesitate at all to go full comic book with this thing and wasn't worried about that getting in the way of anything. This is what he wanted to do, and they did it. For me, it worked in a really big way.
I think it speaks to the fact that this was a starting point in a universe. This is also James Gunn's, of course, his first time being able to do this too. He got to set the table. He got to just be like, hey, this is what this universe is going to be. And he did it, man. And I got it. I get what he's doing.
To that point, I am not a Superman comic book reader. I've read also Superman on David's recommendation.
Yeah.
Leading into this. Really
Did you
good.
feel the vibes, by the way? Because they talked about it so much. Yeah.
I definitely feel the vibes. I don't think I'm as high on that book as other people, but I definitely see it here in this movie. But I'm not historically a Superman comic book fan. My love for Superman largely stems from Smallville, a
Right.
show I loved when I was a kid. A show about Clark Kent more than it is about Superman.
Mhm.
And also the movies. Loved watching Christopher Reeve growing up. Man of Steel was big.
Justice League
This
Unlimited.
is so, yeah, Justice League Unlimited, the Superman cartoon, all that. This is so the opposite of Man of Steel.
There it
And
is.
It's unquestionably the opposite.
I,
Man of
I'm
Steel tries to
I'm with you.
ground Superman. This does the opposite. It tries to lift him straight out of the fucking atmosphere, right? For the first time, I think I understand the Superman hype in a
Yeah.
way that is beyond just Smallville, honestly. And this movie did that for me. I'm really excited to talk more
Yep.
about it.
Yep.
Those are overall thoughts. We're floating in those 90s. I'm high 80s. David's low 90s. Here we go. Let's
Definitely.
dive into it. Spoilers ahead. Here we go. Let's go to the film room. Diving in, looking a little closer. After thinking about it, David, what is the one thing, character, plot, theme, decision, whatever, that impacted this movie for you the most?
I mean, I think for many people that walk out of the movie that know Superman's lore, they know his history, they understand. They've just even if they just watched 1978 Superman, you know,
Sure.
the way James Gunn reframed his Kryptonian lineage
Wow.
and how that impacted the Superman, Clark Kent, Kal-El character development that we then got in this movie. That's the if you ask me what the movie's about, it's about that. Which is so funny because they talked about it they told us this at the very beginning. The movie they said at the very beginning when it was called Superman Legacy, it's about him dealing with his Kryptonian lineage and being raised on Earth. And that's what this movie is about, man. Our guy, Bradley Cooper, is Jor-El, keeping up a fun trend of every Jor-El being a notable actor on the big screen, which is pretty funny.
Okay. Yeah.
Every we got Brando, Russell Crowe, and now Bradley Cooper. What do you
One
what?
of those things is not like the other.
Which one?
Bradley Cooper.
Oh, Bradley Cooper's a big name.
Yeah, big name, but I mean, Brando and Crow, those are Oscar
That's true.
legends. Those are
I don't know.
some of the most acclaimed actors of their time.
Sure, maybe you're right. Maybe I'm giving Brad a.
That was the pitch with Brando. It's fucking Marlon Brando.
That's
You know what
totally
I mean?
different. Oh my gosh, but yeah, I guess it's a little loose, but they're all like
Yeah,
it's not the guy who's playing
big
Pa
names.
Kent.
Big
You
names, you're
know,
absolutely right.
it's a
You're
no,
absolutely right.
you recognize the guy who's playing Jor-El. Okay,
Absolutely.
and Jor-El's an asshole in this movie, or is he? That's the thing, man. It's interesting. The movie tells you three times that it is a correct what do you call it? Translation that
Hmm.
the jacked up second half is telling Superman, which it's like, man, it's a big question of like, are they going to retcon that later? Or is that the canon? I think it's the canon, guys. If you're listening and you think they're going to change it later, I think that's James Gunn's whole freaking point in this movie, and here's why. It completely changes the way Superman thinks. He's devastated. He's like, I mean, you get it right off the bat at the beginning of the movie. That's what gives him comfort is hearing I love how they don't speak English, by the way. It's in some alien language. I'm like, yes,
Perfect.
that's how you freaking do it, man. I love James Gunn
Perfect.
when he's like, this doesn't make sense. I'm gonna make it make sense. He does that so much in this movie and just in
Great.
Superman in general. And because Superman's like, I didn't say that, and now the world's all against him. And he's like, or not that I didn't say that. It's like, I don't believe that, or like that's not what I thought they said. Like that, the message that I've held near and dear to my heart for the last 30 years has been to be a sign of hope, to be something, not to steal this line, to be something to strive towards, essentially, to be that, like, to help the people of Earth. That's like has been his whole thing. And the fact that the movie ends, the way what this movie's about is that Superman realizes that it's not from his Kryptonian heritage what makes him special and what makes him tick. It's from his upbringing, from mom, pa, Ken, and it's about what's inside. It's about himself. It's what he actually believed. It's his heart. To look at Superman's heart and like his actual belief. Like he's been given these great abilities, and he's an alien. And they talk about how it's like he's been up front since the beginning of how he is an alien, which I thought was a really cool touch. But the fact the movie ends with not only him, that incredible speech to Lex, being like, that is my strength, that is my superpower, is that I am human. I do cry. I feel pain. James Gunn is cooking. And at the very end, and this is what left me in tears. It really hit me. This is why it's my overall,
Uh,
my big takeaway. Because it's like the fact that now he watches his old home videos growing up in the Kansas farm and like that's his heart. That's what comforts him. And he realizes that. He thought what made him special was that he was an alien. It's true. He did. At the beginning of the movie, he thinks that he's been given his abilities and he's good-natured, but that he's like, my parents sent me for this purpose. It's this higher purpose. And that purpose just gets stripped away and he's left with a personal dilemma. He has to look himself in the mirror and be like, "Who am I? What am I?" And when he leaves Kent Farms in this movie, he knows who he is. He understands what he is. He has a conversation with him and Pa Kent. Freaking electric. One of the best Superman scenes of all time. Instantly, say that with my
Facts.
freaking chest.
Facts.
And the movie ends with him basking in the sun, re-healing or whatever, listening and hearing his parents and his young self talk. And I'm like, holy shit, man, James Gunn did it. Like he captured why we should love Superman. I think more than anything, it's why we should love Superman. Why Superman is a good character and why we should enjoy these movies and why we should be the fans of the fantastic, quite frankly. So yeah, that's my big thing. I think that framing at its heart, at its core, I think that's what James Gunn. I think when he's talked about these trail or these interviews, he's like, I found an in with the movie. I think that was it. I think it was changing the Kryptonian heritage, making it so they weren't sending him on this. He wasn't this fallen angel, or maybe he is. He was sent and told to rule, told to have several wives and procreate and all these things.
His
And
harem.
his harem. Great joke. A lot of great jokes. But to me, that was very special. And at the heart of it, as a comic book fan, as a huge fan of Man of Steel, flipping that on its head, making it
Mhm.
unique, making it its own, and at the heart of it, making us feel the warmth of Clark Kent Superman. It's just a special movie for that reason.
Couldn't agree more. That that being the theme of the movie, I think was so well executed because it didn't really show its face till near the end of the second, beginning of the third act.
Yeah.
But when you look back, the storytelling of it all is so well done because you have that interview, My Night with Superman, with Lois and Clark, where chemistry just radiating
Good
off the
stuff.
screen. Just incredible. Also so hot. like like every time they kiss and boy are they kissing a
Making
lot in
out.
this movie.
Just making out.
Heavy,
Yeah.
heavy,
No,
aggressively.
I thought it was amazing. You felt the
Hot. It
passion.
was hot.
I'm like,
It was
holy
hot.
shit. Like these they are hot for each other.
They have that interview and you see how defensive Clark gets so quickly as soon as Lois journalistically implies that maybe he was acting more authoritative than he should have. He did not think about the consequences. He did not consider the safety, respect, and position
And the
of other
geopolitical
people.
impact. Yeah.
Boy, there's a lot of it.
It sure is. Bravia. No, heard of it?
Uh, we won't get into it. But you see how defensive he gets so quickly, and he just falls back on his kind of childish response of like, no, 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 I was just trying to help people. Fuck all that. Screw that noise.
Yeah.
Who cares? I was trying to help people. I know why that's right. And that's all that matters. I did what I know is right. And
Mhm.
that's his whole compass. That's his whole North Star. And it was given to him through that message. To see that crumbling down really did break him a little bit. What happens when Superman loses his North Star? And to put that interview so early in the movie,
Great scene.
have Lex's big punch be to tear down that mission. And it's not just the public image of Superman, which was destroyed. It's getting into the core of Clark Kent to take him down with
Breaking
it.
him. Yeah.
Outside of the public of it all, he also was brought down. And then to have it ramp back up with Paul Kent as soon as he gets back to Smallville. He just needed to talk to his parents. That's all he needed to do.
Yeah.
And
He has to center
really-
himself, you know, just get back. I love that, man.
Really great.
I loved the way there's a lot in this movie where it's like, man, I wish there was more of it. Just as someone who was really enjoying themselves, I'm like, I wish I got more of Clark Kent in the glasses at the Daily Planet. You know, I wish I got more on Smallville, but they used it so well. Like James Gunn, the fact that it was like he almost went back. It was, and it was fun too. Like home, it still is the fortress, but then home kind of became Smallville when Lois takes him there. Like there's the one place he had to go, and it just centered him. And I like it's so random, but I really thought the Ma and Pa Kent actors were like so perfect. You know, I mean,
Mhm.
I know they're just like smaller actors, but like the way that sense of like home, you really believed he was raised so well in 5 seconds. You know,
Mhm.
like it's crazy how they were able to. And Matt, go back on this podcast if you can listen to our Man of Steel conversation because I was thinking of you in the movie. Like, what a different. They did what you wanted them to do. You know, they did what Kevin Costner did not do with this version of Pa Kent, and I think it was very purposeful.
I think so too.
It was amazing, man. I would watch that
Yeah,
scene over and over. And
yeah,
like
it's
that's
great.
silly. Coming out of this movie, I'm like, I want to watch Clark talk with his dad for 5 minutes. Like that's like one of the best scenes.
That's kind of the thing, right? James Gunn's so good at this. This is a big, crazy, out there. We called it the most comic book movie in a long time.
Insane action.
It's action, but also just the concept of everything is
Pocket universes.
bizarre.
Yeah.
The whiz bang of it all is crazy. But at the end of the day, it's an incredibly simple story of why does Superman do what he does? What happens when that is taken away from him? And how does he get back? That's all this is, front to
Mhm.
back. And he just does things in between those that story.
Yeah.
Rather than the plot. The story is so much more simple than the plot, but it works. And that's what James Gunn's so good at.
Yep.
Really great. Really, really great. I am floored that David Corenswet wasn't your pick here. I was
Oh,
prepared for that to be the case.
yeah.
Not gonna lie. I
He's
was counting on
also
that.
he's amazing. Yeah.
So maybe we just add a little extra to
No,
talk about
let's add
David
it.
Corenswet if we can.
We make the rules.
What a fucking badass, man. Just, you called him 3 years ago to be Superman, and you were right. And this is your victory lap. You nailed it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not gonna lie, on my side, never seen him before in anything other than Twisters, right?
A lot of people.
You've been so passionate about this and how good he would be for Superman that I've been sitting here worried that like is are you going to be let down by this?
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Because you've been so high on this.
Absolutely. I get that.
I was wrong to do that because you saw something and boy was it right because this guy nails exactly what this Superman is supposed to be. And it's what I've been so excited for Superman to be: fun, happy, sad, emotional, pissed, angry, excited, just emoting.
Corny.
Honestly,
Golly. Yeah.
golly, man,
What the hey?
I really do put my feet in my mouth sometimes. Um, and he crushes that though, like
Interviewing himself, and he's like,
you
yeah.
buy all of it, interviewing himself like a dork, just 3 years, 3 months. Oh no, 3 centuries, 3 years, 3 months, 3 days, 3 hours. That whole thing
Yeah.
sets
Shout
us
out to
up,
that.
and this guy
Do you like that, by the way?
is I did. I'll talk about it.
Okay.
This guy is early stages Superman, and David Corenswet just stole the show for me. And I know that's weird to say. Of course he did. He's fucking Superman.
I'm
But
happy. I'm
he
giddy to hear you say
absolutely
that, though.
crushed it, man. He's what a breakout performance for this kid. He's tied in. Get ready. I go ask Chris Evans how this usually goes. But man, he's earned all the big paychecks that are coming his way. If this movie makes a lot of money, get ready because Corenswet as Superman is, I think, as good as we've got. Honestly, Christopher Reeve and Superman the movie, unbelievable, iconic, first of its kind, fantastic.
You got to learn from the people before him, you know?
But he crushed it, man. Absolutely crushed it. Congratulations to you. You nailed it.
It is a victory lap. It did feel like watching the movie like I was cashing out my lottery ticket. Like there it is.
Yep.
Um, he blew me away. He really blew me. He blew me away more than I was anticipating. Because quite frankly, it was like, yeah, I saw him and he looks the part. You know, I mentioned I said that, and it's the same. It's still the same idea of like because you'd only seen him in Twisters. Most people had only seen him in Twisters or Pearl, and maybe some other stuff. But like even then, like not really. He
Mhm.
can become Superman. That was the biggest thing to me. It's like because he wasn't a notable actor before this, he's just Superman to everyone now. He's just gonna be Superman. And I think that's gonna be very true. I thought he played it. I think he played it so. He had such a great balance to him that we've been missing. I think with Henry Cavill, and I loved Henry Cavill, but I think we missed a balance of the character. This was a dynamic character in this movie. You know, like from him being upset to Lois to being the Superman. You know, to be like messing around with Jimmy in that moment with as Clark, and like when you would interact with the robots compared to when you would interact with like Crypto and how he like treated him, like that fun
Mhm.
relationship, you know, the foster situation of it all. And
Fantastic.
he nailed it. I'm happy that you were the one kind of to say that too, because for me, I think it would have been a little like it really wasn't my biggest takeaway impact of the movie. I just think that's like it's it, okay. Movies are sports. James Gunn already had a ton of success before this with Guardians. He might even Guardians might even be more successful ultimately than the DCU. We have no idea. We are on day zero of all of this, right? It's kind of giving when when Andy Reid got Patrick Mahomes.
You're
Yeah.
stepping on my shit. I can't believe it. I can't fucking believe it.
You write it down?
I cannot fucking believe it.
Did you write it down?
It's exactly what I was gonna say. Can I get to mine? Damn it, David.
Sorry.
Nailed it. Again, David's
Sorry.
having a day,
I'm
everybody.
sorry. I'm sorry.
No, you're absolutely right. Please continue. Continue.
No, that's it. I
Yeah,
did.
let me expound because my biggest takeaway, I think James Gunn had the biggest impact on this movie. Duh. Right?
Absolutely. Yes.
The movies are sports. This is exactly what Andy Reid going to the Chiefs was. It's a veteran coach coming into a new team that is full of upside and uncertainty. He knows exactly how to manage the roster, utilize everyone's strengths, and get the most out of raw talent and get everybody on the same page. Bought it. This movie feels like everybody was bought it, right? The game plan is the best asset this movie has. Gunn is not afraid to take risk here. Call the trick plays, let the players run fast and loose, looking to make big plays. That's the Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes thing, right? There are going to be some stumbles along the way, but not every play will be big, but they don't get bogged down by that. This movie feels like everybody involved is one, having fun, and B,
Having
and I
so
think
much fun.
you'll like this, they're not worried about what comes next. They're not worried about what comes before, and they're not worried about what the reaction is going to be. They set out to make their movie and take big swings in order to get there.
Hmm.
And they did so. I would like to read a review real quick, if
Okay.
I may.
Is it like
I
a
don't.
hashtag wrote review or?
No, nothing like that.
Okay.
I don't want to call people out, but
Oh,
this
call them
woman
out then.
writes. No. This woman writes for Newsweek. I'm sure she doesn't give a damn what I say, right? She's
Right.
much more successful than I am.
Nah.
Billy Melissa, her review for James Gunn's Superman. Much of Gunn's film feels like a sequel. Like we needed something before this one to complete the whole picture.
Fascinating.
I think that completely misses the mark of this movie. I think one of the biggest refreshments of this movie is that it hits the ground running without spending an entire act on either rehashing or reinventing the Clark Kent Superman origin story. There's no winning there. If you do it by the book, it's just another one of these. If you reinvent it completely, everyone's going to be pissed. James Gunn said it in an interview last week. Spider-Man, uh, the
Batman.
spider bite, the Wayne's getting shot, Clark coming to Earth. Those are three comic book movie scenes that no longer need to be shown. Tom Holland, Robert Pattinson, David Corenswet. We've skipped it, and it works
Just you saying those
every
names, by the way,
single
is
time, dude.
special stuff.
It works every single time. He's in there. James Gunn is, in my opinion, locked in the comic book movie director Mount Rushmore.
Oh,
He
absolutely.
probably already had that before this movie, but right now it's
This
cemented.
expands it though. Yeah, it
It's
cements it.
cemented. It's
Yeah.
cemented.
Well,
Um,
it's because he went from he and everyone's talking about this. He took this ragtag team and made them relevant. What are you gonna do with the most relevant hero? Make him likable. Make him someone that you can actually see yourself in. Make him relatable, right? And make him enjoyable on the big screen. I think this movie's gonna do well, man. I will say quick. I was gonna ask you this. So we did box office on Monday. We talked about how like the reviews are gonna affect it. Reviews are in. Reviews are good. We've seen it now. Do you? I put it at 122. You said over already. What do you think now? We're still on Wednesday.
oh, box office.
Yeah.
Um,
Like what are you thinking? I mean, are you thinking like it's going to expand that much more? Are you thinking it's going to still be in that range? Like
I
I'm
think
sure
it's gonna hit.
you're happy you said over, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's gonna hit the high end of that incredibly wide range we talked about yesterday.
The 130, yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be in
I'm
that
with you.
130 area.
I
Yeah,
think I'm gonna do. I think I would if I were to revise it today. I would like do like a $10 million bump from what I've seen to where I would personally be like 132 instead of 122. That's where I'm at. 'Cause
yeah,
I think I just even know in my circles, Matt, like my friends are texting me like, "Oh, I'm excited to see this movie now," and like that, and it because I think so many were waiting. There was a waiting pattern, a holding pattern of like, "Am I gonna go see this movie this weekend? Oh, it's really good. Yeah, I'm gonna go see it."
sure. Yeah,
We'll
and I
see. We'll
think
see.
and I think this movie lives up to that pressure because that's the other thing, man. James Gunn, back to that whole thing of it. When he did Guardians, there was really no pressure. Marvel Studios was riding the high of Avengers. They could afford a loss there if it were to happen.
Huge
So
risk.
James Gunn was playing fast and loose, doing exactly what he wanted to do, took a big swing to see if it worked. This movie could not fail. We talked about it in our box office review. It had to be great, not just good. And he didn't change his approach at all. Back to movies or sports. He played his game. He did not let the pressure of this movie change how he approached the movie at all.
Mm.
This is by no means a safe movie. You could have played
No,
this safe. You
no,
know what
it's
I
not
mean?
safe at
This
all.
had to be great, so you could have played it safe. He went the opposite direction. He took a huge swing. It's not going to resonate with every single person,
Oh yeah, we're
but the
seeing the bad
people it
reviews.
resonates
Yeah.
with, it's going to absolutely crush. And I think that's huge here. And I think the biggest thing I love about James Gunn in this movie and the Superman IP in general, like I said, he could have worried about what came before. He could have worried about what's coming next. He's the head of DC Studios, for God's sake. He could have worried about the reviews and the money and done things to accommodate for that. But instead, he focused on the characters in this movie right now, scene by scene. Nothing about this movie is looking too far ahead or trying to make up for something that he didn't have anything to do with. You can just feel everyone in this movie, from the director behind the camera to the actors in front of the camera. Everybody was in the moment and was approaching the same goal and having fun. That translates through the screen.
It really
Everybody's
does.
having a blast and crushing it, man.
Dude, that Lex room, the Lex control room, looked like so
So
much fun
fun,
for being the
man.
like villainous layer. I'm like this. I kind of want to be on the team, like playing video games.
Talk about movies or sports, dude.
Yeah.
When they take down Superman in that first scene and Lex is doing the clap thing, it's exactly how I look when the Pacers are up in the third quarter. It's exactly what I'm looking like, the clap around, pointing to people.
Yeah.
When my wife sees this and sees Lex doing the clap and point thing that he does, she's gonna pause the movie, look at me, and goes, "That's you." And David, I'm not kidding. That's exactly how I handle sports. I clap and I point to whoever's watching it with me. Just like Lexi. I was fucking floored when I saw that.
That's amazing.
Those are the film rooms. Those are our biggest takeaways. The Ma Pa Kent of it all. James Gunn's bold take on this movie when he could have been safe. And then a bonus, David Corenswet. Let's get into the top plays. A little more ping pong, a little more back and forth. There you
go. There you go. Did you like? I didn't write down the music, but music banged, right? The end,
Really
the last 10 minutes. I was like, oh my gosh.
When they finally played the rest of it,
yeah,
I was like, earned.
They did
Nailed
their.
it.
I liked how they didn't. It was not. It was not John Williams' score. Like I like how they did. There was an evolution to it, and then they finally like let it rip.
And they punched it. Very Jurassic World.
Yeah.
The Jurassic World earns it way less than this movie does. Like they play that movie for ScarJo when she just like shows up in a scene. And I'm like, come on.
Yeah.
But
talking,
this one,
like
they play their own version of it, and then when it finally hits, when he finally does that last fight scene through Metropolis, they hit that crescendo there. It's really great.
Yeah.
Top plays, we've already started talking about them. I'm gonna go first. Lex, Nicholas Hoult.
Yeah.
Boy,
having fun. Talk about having fun.
Pretty fucking good. And I think a very important decision here. He's got a pocket universe prison full of all of his enemies.
James Gunn said his science is like magic. It's so advanced, and that is true.
Yeah, and he wasn't shying away from that at all, and everybody just kind of accepts it. To the point that when his office drops and is now a flying spaceship, nobody gives a fuck.
Nope.
It just works, right? The biggest thing they did to help Lex here was make it real. Got a pocket universe full of his enemies. Ex-girlfriend, a guy who's more handsome than he is, filled with jealousy, over-the-top evil shit that is just zany and comic book stuff, right? And then he kills the falafel guy.
Ooh.
And acts like, oh, man, I didn't see that going as quick as it could. All right, who's next? That moment made everything he does afterwards a little more real.
Oh, yeah.
Because they showed he's willing to fucking go there, man. Like, they could have done all the things that they did and imply that he's this sinister, over-the-top villain guy. But when he kills the falafel guy, we see it in real time how bad it is. And everything else is just more valid. They went there.
It's a freaking dark scene. Like that is a like, ooh, do I take my kid to the movie scene? Which I props to James Gunn. I love that this movie has such a balance of light and dark and Lex, that scene, I had that written down. I love at the beginning of the movie the setting of the table with the video game style stuff where it's like super like the robots like Alan Tudyk. He's like, Superman, you're only at 83% health or whatever. It's like,
yeah,
no can do for, gotta go back to the fray. Like, it's so funny. And then that leads into like the boardroom of like, 3LXY, like, moves. Like, I'm like, this shit is awesome. And it does feel very modern. Like that made it to me feel like kids, anyone below like even young millennials and below, like you're getting more out of that than anyone above those generations.
For sure. Lex Luthor, my first top play. David talked.
The video game thing was my next one.
Oh, there you go. Cool.
Yeah, and then I'll throw in one more just because back to me. Just we already said it, but that first Clark and Lois makeout.
Yep.
She walks in with the bat, and it's like, oh, and then he's like making breakfast, and he's like, oh, you love that, and they just start making out. I'm like, damn, like it's giving they've been dating for 3 months, and they're not sure about each other. It really gives all that. And later it's even better. So
and the Clark and Lois chemistry just continues to build. You know what I mean? It's fun and it's fresh at first, and then they fight right away.
Yeah.
And then I love how when it gets back to that intergalactic imp of it all, which is the scene we were all wondering about, right?
Yeah, which is fully explained, of course.
Totally paid off.
Yeah, really funny.
The conviction that Lois had. The conviction that Lois had, I never thought that, like, when I heard all this shit, never thought it was true.
Yeah.
Of course you didn't. You know what I mean? Like, and that's what makes this Superman so great. There's no Clark and Superman. It's all one thing.
It's all one thing.
The only time it's separate is when he's just Clark.
Yeah.
But when he's Superman, he's also Clark.
Yeah.
And that's so different than other Superman
He's
we've got.
like they've talked about that like third character where it's when he is speaking to someone who knows both identities, that's when he's like his most like kind of like true self. And we see that, there is when he is Superman, there is still that kind of like da 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 da, like that almost like a little more PR trained when he's speaking.
One of the tried and true signs that a comic book movie is good is when a moment from the trailer hits just as hard in the movie. When he leans forward, Miss Light.
Yeah. The one I had that hit, dude, the one I had that from that same scene that I thought hit way harder in the context is people are going to die. Like I thought that like that hit even harder for me in the movie. I'm like, man, because it was within the actual flow of the conversation. It wasn't like all jumbled up and cut. That hit so well.
Corenswet's
We got to
awesome.
talk about him, by the way. Crypto. Great addition to this movie. Such a sidekick. He's the connecting thread in all the DCU, it turns out. It's gonna be awesome. Can't wait. We'll talk about that in a minute. But him going for the dog, like the dog toys of it all, and like that payoff in the end of like, oh, get him. Like go get the drones and stuff. Such a great payoff. And Jasmine's favorite moment in the movie. She like kind of kicked her feet when it happened. When he attacks Lex, the very end. Yeah. Like that was so good. That was amazing.
Hulk and Loki vibes in Avengers.
Yeah.
I think the best decision they made with Crypto, no doubt, is they didn't have him doing too much. No. He wasn't fighting people. He wasn't like taking on an army by himself or anything like that. He was doing dog shit. But like super dog shit,
Right.
like if super a dog could fly and be strong, this is what he would do.
And barely listens too. He's not like a good.
Oh, he's awful dog. Yeah. The next top play, just all the cameos. This is James Gunn, so obviously there's going to be a lot of cameos. But this movie did not shy away from the cameo of it all. We talked about Bradley Cooper as Jor-El. Working backwards a little bit.
A cameo. Yeah.
Oh, and he had fucking 4 lines. He's in the entire movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Working backwards a little bit so we can talk about the big one. Voice roles, classic James Gunn putting his friends as voice roles as robots or faceless characters, whatever it might be. Michael Rooker and Palm Clementif, both Superman robots.
Yeah.
Very cool. Michael Rosenbaum, my favorite Lex Luthor still, is one of the Raptor agents for Lex.
Oh, really?
One of his like bodyguards. Yeah. Awesome.
That's funny. That's cool.
Frank Grillo is Rick Flag Sr. What a payoff. Go watch Creature Commandos. It's great. Sean Gunn is Maxwell Lord, getting ready for Peacemaker season 2.
That was an amazing cameo. That was so good. That was
looking good, by the way.
Bro, that line is gonna be what to me, I'm like, oh man, box office. Like that was so good.
Conservatives and liberals can both get behind.
Because you do in that moment, you're like, shit, Lex is this is the worst guy ever.
He's the worst, man. This guy sucks.
It's amazing. Like it's great.
Yeah. And then the one no one saw coming, John fucking Cena, man.
Pop in my theater.
Undefeated run.
Big pop in my theater.
Undefeated run. John Cena is Peacemaker. Nobody scooped it. Nobody predicted it. Doing exactly what Peacemaker would be doing, just talking shit.
Yes, on the show.
A lot of setup for Peacemaker season 2. We'll talk about that here in a little bit.
Yeah.
The big one. Coming in like the Kool-Aid man. Millie Alcock as Supergirl. Not a post-credit scene.
Very
just
smart
under the wire.
Very smart to
under
me.
the wire.
James Gunn, we're not going to have post-credit scenes in this universe that much that are going to really set up the future. We're just going to have them in the movie. That's what we're going to do instead. Like, literally, that is a post-credit scene that's just in the film.
So dumb.
I loved it.
This is a Joker card.
Yeah. It's not a post-credit scene.
Yeah, it is. She comes in rip roaring drunk. She's been chilling out on red planets.
American accent.
Planets. American accent. Boston accent. Thanks for watching my dog, bitch. That's her big line.
So good.
Why'd you move the door? Millie Alcock being drunk is also very meta because obviously when they won the Emmy, House of Dragon. She didn't
Yeah,
think they'd
right.
win, and boy, she wasted on that stage. Um, Very excited for all that. Crypto's going along with her. We're getting more crypto. Perfect. Perfect.
Yeah.
Amelia Alcock cameo. My top play.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Great top play. Love the suit too. Got the first look at the suit. Wasn't hidden in.
The skirt, the jacket.
Skirt, boots, jacket, same emblem, of
Mhm.
course.
Her
Looks
hair looks good.
looks great. I mean, that is that is like a great backdoor pilot,
Hmm.
literally. Like that your cameos you just went through. To me, a top play was like how much this actually does set up the future. It connects to everything. This movie
Absolutely.
connects to Peacemaker. It connects to
Absolutely.
Lanterns. It connects to Supergirl. Like we are going.
And outside of Supergirl, it's all very organic. Supergirl they put
Yeah.
in because they wanted to do it, but like
Well,
everything
your
else is
cousins arrived.
organically
Boom.
right. Supergirl is the only other thing. Everything else is very organically in the story. Peacemaker would be talking shit.
Yeah.
Max Lord would be on the news. Rick Flag Sr. would be here.
Right.
This, that, the
Rick
other.
Flag Sr. definitely makes sense. We saw that at the
Yeah,
end of Creature Commandos.
it's
Great.
very
Great to see
exciting.
Frank Grillo. Um,
Go watch Creature
I
Commandos.
also liked how he apologized. It's like, oh, sorry. Like I like the context of that because you realize he's
Hate
kind
doing
of
this.
and in the end it was really good too. It's like, well, great. Now the metahumans are controlling everything. And it's like boom, boom. Like here we go. Like that did set up a sequel or something in the future really nicely. They're building something, Matt, piece by piece.
Yeah,
Justice Gang. Um, Hawkgirl, I think, was like the least utilized. I did enjoy when
I
she freaked out at the end.
I have her
Love
down.
Nathan Fillion as Guy
Yeah,
Gardner. Freaking hilarious.
never misses.
The oven mitts. Yes.
I
That's
gotta
just
wrap it up in mitts.
the oven mitts to me. That scene, that joke, that line delivery, the writing, the colors. If you like that, you love this movie. If you don't like that, you might not like this movie. You might
Sure.
think this movie's beneath you, quite frankly. So that's my take on the movie. And I think it comes down all to oven mitts, Matt. Oven
Of mitts.
mitts is the fulcrum of this film.
Yeah.
Mr.
Shout out
Terrific,
Star Wars Rebels.
shout out. Eddie Gathegi, Mr. Terrific is the standout six man of the year in this movie. That needle drop in that action sequence got one. My audience clapped after that sequence. Like it was like
Same.
this is amazing. Like that was James Gunn's like I gotta do a little Guardian something here. I
Gotta
gotta
do the
sneak some
thing.
Guardians in. Let's have some fun. We got Lois in the bubble, and him just tearing these folks up. It might be the most badass action scene we got in the movie, and it's Mr. Terrific. I loved him even beyond the action. I thought Eddie Gathegi, Mr. Terrific was great. I want him back faster than anyone in this movie outside of like the major main cast. On like the supporting cast, he's the character I want back the most.
Couldn't agree more. That action scene. That's a James Gunn super fan.
What was the song?
Don't know.
Yeah,
Don't
gotta
know.
find,
Excited to find out because it was good.
gotta figure
This
it
is
out.
this is this is where we lose the Guardians of a little bit, where we find out that James Gunn's music taste is actually really eclectic and indie and punk.
Right,
So like it's not gonna be
punk
popular,
rock
but
maybe. Yeah.
punk rocker at the end was sick though. That was awesome. I like seeing that. But that action scene, man, banger, perfect. They do the Guardians thing
Yeah.
where it's all happening behind the camera. And Lois and Rachel Brosnahan, shout out you. She was told to spin around for 2 minutes and react.
Yeah.
Crushed it.
Yeah.
Crushed it. Obviously, I'm trying to think what is the one from volume one? Because volume two, it's come a little bit closer. No, but like the needle drop action
Oh.
scene. Because in volume two, it's come a little bit closer with the arrow flying through the
Oh.
spaceship. Volume three is Beastie Boys when they go through the tunnel, the one shot.
Is there one in
Volume
the
one
first
have
one?
one.
Yeah, not I don't think in that same
Not
vein.
like that.
I could be. Well, are they? Did they drop a needle when they're breaking out of the jail?
No, it's the theme.
Oh yeah, Bradley
Yeah,
Cooper,
no,
shout out.
that's just the theme. That's just the theme.
By the way, I can't
That's I
believe
mean, that
we were
scene
just looking at
fucks.
the gosh darn last on Monday we were looking at the Scarlett Johansson the rankings. Here comes Bradley Cooper once again.
Coming right up the next. Yeah, that was a terrific fight scene. I think was the action scene of the movie. I can't believe we haven't talked about it yet. Jimmy and Eve,
Oh, here we go. Yeah.
unbelievable, unbelievable. Um, Jimmy Olsen, fantastic, just great throughout the whole movie. Eve Tessmacher, scene stealer every second of the way, not embarrassed,
Jasmine told me
hilarious.
she is a real life model.
No shit.
Yeah. And I love Skylar Gazando, by the way. I've talked to you about him before on the pod. Like I
He's
really
insane.
he's so good. Who was in TASM 1 as Gwen's
Hmm.
little brother.
Branzino
And
guy.
yeah. And
Aaron asked me 2 days ago. She was saying Branzino, and she goes, "I think it's a fish." And I looked at her. I said, "I know it's a fish because it has one."
that's right. Exactly.
um,
That's so funny.
the biggest laugh the entire movie for me, the best joke that landed the hardest, is when they're going back and forth in the alley, and Eve and just out of like they pause for a minute, and Eve goes, "Lex tortured a dog yesterday." And Jimmy goes, "Jesus Christ!"
Yeah.
That shit hit with me so hard, man. Jesus Christ.
Just
That's
lets it out.
fucking
Yeah.
so funny, man. Oh, that was great. Jimmy
Also
and
ad
Eve,
lib.
scene stealers. Scene stealers.
And a pinnacle part of this entire movie. Like, I mean, literally, like a huge plot point is that he has this connection to
Mutant
Eve
toast.
Taskmacher, and that is the reason why, like, that Jimmy and Lois are able to get like make their way in and solve this mystery and get the and publish it. Great journalism, like too, like
Yeah,
where you can. It's hard in the modern day to be able to do the whole like we're a newspaper and journalism matters and stuff. They really do a great job of that in this
they
movie.
did the
Where
thing.
like when they go in the T sphere and Perry's like, run it, kid, like publish it. And he breaks the laptop and he's doing the thing and they publish it and then like the news cycle then begins and we get the whole breakdown. That goes right off of mine was like I've seen a critique where they wish they got more of Lois and Clark. I loved Lois's independence in this movie. Like
Hmm?
once again, another plug of our Rewind series. Go back and listen to Superman Returns, man. That Lois compared to this one, like Amy Adams
Stinks.
has a lot of independence too, but they like Amy Adams that Lois is only that. There is no real like there's no you don't feel the vibrations in between them, you know, when they're together.
At all.
I mean, wow, night and day on that side. But
Yeah.
Lois in this movie also has that like badass, like I'm going out to solve shit. I'm going to figure this out. Like, and you can tell she is the best reporter compared to Jimmy, compared to Clark, compared to everyone in that newsroom, especially compared to Steve, and Kat.
Dude. Shout out Steve.
Yeah.
Steve was so funny. Cat, more distracting than anything else, I guess.
I mean, that's literally she's trying to distract Lois in that one scene. She's just like,
You want
oh,
to talk about nothing to do.
yeah.
Why was Cat there?
I had one my I think my one of my one critiques of this movie is they have a lot of characters. You know, this is the whole thing. I was the one thing I was nervous about in this movie was like they have so many characters.
Yeah.
The two for me, Cat's maybe one of them. The one for me that really stands out though is Engineer.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Who are you gonna say?
I was gonna
Ultraman?
Metamorpho.
Oh,
Metamorpho.
Metamorpho. Oh, I liked Metamorpho.
I liked all of it.
I liked when he turned good. That was one of my top
Sure.
plays. I like
Yeah,
when
that
he's
was good.
always when he's like
That was
and at
good.
the end he's smiling. Like when he gets
Yeah.
saved. And I liked the turn. Really cool scene when it's like the explosion and then Superman breaks out.
Uh-huh. I don't like the following river scene where he's holding up the baby the whole
Falling into
time.
the black hole, not my
My
favorite.
least favorite scene of the movie.
I did like
Now,
the
slowing
payoff.
it down to grab crypto.
Yeah.
That was dope.
The payoff of Ultraman the clone being smacked
Oh,
into it later though, I thought was good.
absolutely. That was better than the Ultraman reveal for sure.
Shout out, by the way, that Corenswet got to play two characters.
Seems to be a fucking theme this year, dude.
Yeah, it's wow.
It's happening a
That's a
lot.
great point. And
It's
I will
happening a
say,
lot.
like the whole clone thing, someone to fight Superman. All right, like I think they got it out of the way. You almost like kind of have to.
I'm with you on that. Um,
Not my
I'm
favorite.
out of time.
That's what makes it not like to me personally. I'm like, yeah, the clone. Like, all right, like it's
Yeah.
fine. It's cool. Ultraman was a fine character. I liked the thing I like this movie is how Lex is the villain. Like he is in control of everything and everyone. Like there's no secondary villain in this movie. It is Lex at the pinnacle of all of it. Even the Baravian president. Nope. Under Lex's
Lex.
yeah, like it is all Lex. And that I appreciate about James Gunn's direction.
Leads me to my final top play. Little callback, Superman the movie, Gene Hackman, the Hackman. Do you recall what Lex's like backup master plan was? Like his motive for the Baravian conflict in that war.
God. Wait, no, I forget.
He was going to get half of the country that they were taking over.
Right, right.
It's all about land,
Real
baby.
estate.
It's all about land.
Wait, you say I want to be, he wants to be king. Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's all Lutherville or whatever the fuck it was. That's classic Gina. There's going to be a new West Coast. It's going to be mine.
Yeah,
when they
funny.
did that, I was like, fuck yeah.
That did stand out to me too.
They did the land thing.
Yeah. Even though I like,
he's got a floating skyscraper, but yeah, I need some land.
It's interesting because like Lex is this total like crazy asshole, yet like mom and pop can have a Lex core or a Luthor core TV. You know what I mean? It's like he's like, it's like I would love to know. And this movie does not. We talked about this. This movie it's 2 hours long and it is not an origin story. Like we don't get any context of like how Lex got here. But I imagine in my head canon, it's like he rose up the ranks. He was this whiz kid, billionaire, made technology, inventor or whatever, and now it's just like because of Superman, he's almost like gone into this like craze essentially.
That's your All-Star Superman thing because that's like a big thing between those two in that book. It's like Lex imagine if you would apply this somewhere else, how much good you could do.
Lex
like, why this?
Yeah, I think from All-Star, I was just rereading it, and I think the vibes I get, the G Willikers of it all for Superman, I think is a huge thing here. His compassion, his love. I think Lex is also a huge influence. The Lex and also Superman is a huge influence on this book. His motivations, their reactions with each other, I think is also like pulled from it.
I hate you, man. That's Lex's whole thing. I just fucking hate you.
You just hate you. And it's a great ending. It's a great by the way, my last top play was when he busts in for the dog at the beginning, or not halfway through or whatever. Where's the dog?
Where's the dog?
So good. And I love the connection that they have because you never feel like Clark would ever, for lack of a better term, snap his neck. Like you never feel like he would just laser just laser him to death right there. You never feel that as an audience member, or even Lex never feels that too. He's like, I know he's basically like, I know you'd never touch me. Like you know what I mean? Isn't it strange?
Not the point of the movie. Yeah.
Think about it though. Superman could easily. Lex is not protected when they're face to face.
Doesn't care.
He could get annihilated right there, just dead, basically, right? At the end of the movie, in that moment in the conference room, but especially at the end, it's all gone. It's all like he's lost, but it's still all just emotional and mental. The movie ends because Clark smiles and it's like, brains over bronze always wins. Boom, like so good. Like that's I think what James Gunn got the most right. Hey everyone, if your critique with Superman was always like he just punches harder,
nah.
Not in this movie.
No. Not only does he not just punch harder, there are things other than kryptonite that can stop him.
Yeah, I will say one thing. This Superman, he feels nerfed to me. Like he feels weaker than past iterations, and that's a great thing. Like he's still. And by the way, in this movie, this is his first conflict. It's like his first challenge. It's his. You get the vibe from like the opening. Yeah, it's the first time he's lost, which means he's normally basically just surveying Metropolis, keeping everyone safe. We get knowledge of like he's saved the guy who got shot by Lex several times. He's saved people before. The movie, he saves a freaking squirrel. So like when it's business as usual, bro's just flying around, just saving people on a daily basis,
Yeah, and I think that's a big part of this movie too. Is like he's not the first metahuman here. That's something very different than Man of Steel. He's not just the first of this. He's just, over the last 3 years, the best version of this that we've gotten. And the competition rises up. You know what I mean?
300 years ago. We should transition into what we're going to do next here.
Sure. Post-game. After Superman, this is the new DCU. The tone has been set. The vibes have been laid and the foundation has been established. Welcome to the new DCU, David. What are your
Thank you.
thoughts?
Dude, I'm all in. I'm all in. I was all in before, and I'm way more all in now because I actually know what I'm getting myself into. Supergirl is set up in a huge way. I think a lot of people are going to see this movie and are going to be like, "Oh, shoot, Supergirl! Like, I saw her. Like that. Let's go see that." It's a lower knowledge character, lesser known character, but it's still like working out that way. My biggest thing is like, what I want a Superman 2. I walk out of this movie being like, I want a sequel to this movie. I think a lot of people are gonna walk out being like, when's the next one? And that's just how we're wired these days, is when's the next one? And I don't
Mhm.
know when that's happening. I think that's gonna be the thing that we're gonna be on the lookout for now on the podcast.
Yeah. And we'll keep it updated as soon as the news comes out. I do also love how there's no cliffhanger here. This is a happy ending.
Happy ending.
We
Yep.
went through some shit. We came out better on the other side.
Mhm.
What's next is totally up to whatever happens next. The next villain will dictate what the next movie will be, not a follow up to this.
Yeah. I plan on seeing this movie again this weekend, hopefully. It feels already very rewatchable. It
Sure.
feels very standalone, like you just said, like where you can just sit down, watch James Gunn's Superman, and that can be it for you, like, and you have a good time. And it's just a comic book, and then you put it down, and it's like, okay, maybe I'll pick up another Superman, or I'm gonna pick up Peacemaker, or I'm gonna pick up Supergirl next, or I'm gonna pick up Green Lantern next. Green Lantern, I think, is now also for me. I'm most excited for Lanterns out of anything on the upcoming DCU list. For me personally, I think. Um, the contrast we're gonna have of Nathan Fillion in that show is gonna be amazing. I can't wait to see what they do, man. Like that's really exciting for me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be cool to see how they transition into that, but they made more direct connections here. Peacemaker season 2, we already talked about it. Cena's in this movie. Frank Grillo's in this movie. Maxwell Lord in this movie. The Justice King in
Yeah,
this movie.
very
There are
connected.
one. There are one, two, three, four, five characters in this movie that will be in Peacemaker season 2.
Could even be more. Like we don't know.
Could even be
There
more.
there was
Right.
a stretch of time in Atlanta when James Gunn had two productions happening at the same time, Superman and Peacemaker. So it's like,
Yeah.
bro,
All
any
in one.
that means they're all there. Like anyone could pop in at any time, similar to how it was in this movie.
Yeah. So Peacemaker season 2, very excited for. I don't think this movie this movie added excitement only in amplifying what we already knew.
We're more excited for the universe now. We're
Right.
excited to see what
Right.
happens next canonically.
Yeah, it's going to be very cool to see the Justice Gang grow. I didn't like the name bit, but not every
Meh.
joke's gonna work.
Not every joke's gonna work.
Um,
I agree with that. Like I would say,
the
like a
coffee joke sucked.
one last
Coffee joke sucked.
coffee joke. Which one was that?
When she's pouring all that sugar
Oh,
in the
whatever.
coffee, and she goes, still doesn't get rid of the taste of petroleum. Shut up.
I also didn't love the whole like garage one. Anyway, that was
I
like
like that.
meh.
That was
The
funny.
best joke in the movie, and I forgot to say this earlier, super shit and those monkeys in the lair that were just like the internet trolls. That was incredible. That was the most meta joke I've seen, and that was so funny.
Had they not shot the falafel guy, that would
Yeah.
not have hit as hard. I
Yeah.
don't know if it came before or after,
I
but like
think it was
I would have
before.
thought, I think I would have thought back on the monkeys in a more silly way had they not shot the falafel guy.
Yeah. Shooting the
You know
falafel
what I
guy was
mean?
freaking
Pivotal
brutal, man.
moment in this movie, dude. Pivotal moment in this movie is
Oh,
when
the
they shoot
Russian
the falafel
roulette?
guy.
Oh my gosh,
Oh,
yeah. That's like
and his
that's the
reaction.
middle of the movie.
I did not think this was gonna go that quickly. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Um,
That was
yeah.
great. Oh, by the
My
way, the
favorite my favorite
design
joke is still Jesus Christ.
yeah, the design of the makeup of when the poisoning, like when he's all puffed up and stuff,
Oh,
Clark
sure.
with the kryptonite,
Mm-hmm.
really good. Going forward, man, DCU, I'm here, we're here. Like I'm so excited for this universe. It feels like we have like I'm just so excited. We can go anywhere now. We can go anywhere, anytime. Clearly, we're gonna go in the past before this at some point. Like that's kind of seems to be their vibe. I don't know. That when they mentioned 300 years ago. So metahumans appear. Like it's a whole thing. This universe is so unique. It I was trying to explain this to Jasmine, but she didn't understand as much because she's not a comic book reader. I'm like, DC Comics, outside of Batman, and even then a little bit, they're more fantastical than Marvel. Like, and that's what this is. This is a more
Mhm.
fantastical universe than the MCU is. And huge credit, I think, to James Gunn. He understood that. And like you said, took that risk of not trying to be this movie, I think, in very few ways tries to repeat the MCU in any way. You know,
Absolutely.
I think in a really positive way. It makes it feel like
Because
it's its own thing.
because Nolan did it, because Favreau did it, and they did it so successfully, the trend for the last 20 years, literally
Yeah.
20 years, has been to ground comic book movies enough to be accessible, and then fantastical comes afterwards.
This could
That's
happen in
the
real life. Iron
that's
Man
the
could be
for
real.
this theoretically. Doctor Strange is probably the best example of, oh man, it's just meditation. Then you get into the intergalactic stuff where the rules are a little more loose, obviously.
Yeah.
And
Guardians,
and Guardian
sci-fi.
and the MCU has, in my opinion, perfected that. They're still doing it. It's my preferred comic book movie style, still to this day. This is not grounded in the fucking slightest. Everything about the best example of it is when the kaiju's up there, and that guy is in the coffee shop just watching. They show him 3 or 4 times, just watching, just
Yeah.
casually, out of nowhere.
You
Whatever.
get the
This
sense that they're always dealing with random shit. Like,
and over the last 3 years, Superman has been the Mahomes of this world, just kind
right.
of dominating,
Yeah.
right? This is a completely ungrounded comic book universe, which means we have no idea where they're going to go next. The
Yeah.
kaiju was nothing to these people in this movie. It was
Yeah.
another day
It was
where
when
it
the
took,
world was splitting that mattered. Yeah.
right. Iron Man started with a second Iron Man. That was the villain.
Right.
This movie's third or fourth villain was a kaiju. The
Yeah.
fuck?
And the last one's
You
a
know?
clone of
A
himself.
clone. It's
It's
all a
different
black hole,
playbooks.
a rift in the dimension.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
this is a completely throw out the rule book, off the wall, 300 years in universe.
Yeah.
Get ready for a fucking ride.
It's like going from the West Coast offense to like what McVay runs these days.
Sure. It's the invention of the forward pass, 3-point line.
3-point line.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Kaiju was 3-point line.
Sure. That has been the review of Superman 2025, a review 3 years in the making. Thank you
Rip
so
the
much for
Kaiju,
joining
by
us.
the way. I mean,
R.I.P.
damn.
Kaiju.
I
Yeah, he
mean,
wanted it to go differently.
Superman. He
went
wasn't able to
differently.
save him. Like, where's the outrage about that?
Good scene. Good scene. Really good scene. Big fan. This has been the Superman Review. We're excited. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for finding us. If you are an old listener, thank you all for joining us. If you are a new listener, please follow us on socials listed in the description below. Be a friend, tell a friend. If you could share this with another movie fan of yours, that would help a lot. If you could leave a 5-star review, that would help a lot. Subscribe not only to the Direct Podcast, Universes You Love on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere you get your podcasts, but also the Direct Extras YouTube page, thedirect.com, and the social channels we have there for everything you need to know about the universes you love. For David, I'm Matt. Until then, see you next time.